Luke, why don't you give the intro?
Me? I don't know what I'm supposed to say.
Say whatever you want. The world is your ocean.
The One Piece is real.
What's going on, everybody? We're back. You know, we got the familiar looking background because now we're going to be doing something a little different. We're going to be reviewing theories.
Hell yeah.
And I'm joined with Luke once again. You know, hey Luke, what's poppin'?
What's up?
We're going to be reviewing theories. We got sent over 100 theories. Not every single one of them could be included because there's just so many of them, but I read through all of them. They were all amazing. You know, I appreciate everyone who sent theories. We're going to have 3 different ratings, sort of. Each of them are going to be 1 through 10, and we're going to be judging them based on probability, fun value, and their story / narrative. Obviously, probability is how likely we think it'll be. 1 is this is not gonna happen. 10 is oh my god, this is gonna happen. Fun value, obviously 10, the super fun theory. 1, not fun at all. And then we got narrative / story. 1 is like, this does not tell a very compelling story. And then we got 10. Oh my god, this is a super compelling story. All of them are separate because I think that's what goes into a theory. You know, it's not all just about what you think is going to be happening in the story. We got to have that fun value and that narrative as well. So without further ado, why don't we begin? All right, so first theory, this is called the Banished Heaven is the Vessel. This is by Rune. So thank you, Rune. The player is the angel, and the prophecy that says the angel banished will finally meet with its desire describes us getting banished out of Kris, or Noel in the weird route, and will be put in the vessel we created in chapter 1. Our desire is 100% a controllable vessel, as we don't have full control over Kris. That way, the idea with the 1 ending also works out for the weird route. The ending of Deltarune will be the angel's heaven, the vessel and us, being banished. The player, being the angel, is supported maybe by us getting stuck under the angel doll when Noel and Susie walk in on us.
Oh, I kind of fuck with that theory, actually.
If we are the angel, it's like a whole thing. What is our desire? Like, yeah, I could see that, you know. The vessel, the thing that every single one of us created, I guess would kind of be our desire, right? So
yeah.
All right, so Luke, probability, what do you think?
I could see it, you know.
Okay.
I'd probably give it like a strong 6 to a light 7. Like, I'm not, oh my god, that's absolutely happening. But like, I think that has some weight to it. I could see, I like that idea.
Fun value, what do you think?
I think it's a fun theory. I'd give it a 7.
Okay. And then lastly, narrative.
I feel like an 8.
8 narrative, okay.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good theory. I like it.
Very strong. For me, I think probability, I would give that honestly an 8.
Yeah.
I think whatever has to do with the vessel, I feel like be tied in with the angel heaven banishing. So I give that an 8. Fun value, I'm gonna give it a 5. All right. I've heard of more fun theories, I will say.
So, well, like, do we say in terms of like fun theories? Is that like you know, like, it's like I feel like Woody theory is fun theory.
Woody theory.
That's like a 10 on the fun.
That's like a 10.
So
fun
like that's how we're looking at the fun. Okay, I see. Okay.
You know, just a little more context. Woody theory, I think if we were to rate that, at least for me, I think it would be like a 5 out of 10 in probability.
Yeah.
10 out of 10 in fun.
Okay.
And I think it would be like a 6 out of 10 narrative.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. All right. I got it.
But the actual narrative, I think I would also probably give that an 8 as well, because
I think it's a good narrative.
I think it is a good narrative, and I think it ties well to the themes of Deltarune. So.
For sure. I like the foreshadowing idea with the like the angel over the soul, like when you know what I mean.
There's a lot of like player angel. Imagery.
Like I do kind of like that, and like how like when Susie and why am I forgetting Noel, when Susie and Noel like walk in the basement, that's foreshadowing.
Yeah,
and I kind of like that idea. Like that totally could be.
Next theory. All right, so we got a shorter theory this time. This is the Knight Wears Armor from IcedCoral. So with the Knight, this is not a theory of who the Knight is, but what if the antlers on the Knight are a part of a helmet? We know that in Dark Worlds, Light World items get more strength, so why wouldn't the Knight have armor? And if they do have armor on, the antlers look to be sticking out of the helmet. So the Knight could be anyone, and knowing Toby, the antlers could just be a red herring. What if the antlers were actually the Dark World version of the monster headband.
I could see that. However, if like, let's say one of the people in Noelle's family is the knight, they would have to have a helmet with antlers on it since they have antlers. You know what I mean? Like it's part of their body.
True.
And so it's like, if they're wearing armor as the knight, which like I feel like is definitely is the case in some, like it's some sort of armor, they would have to have it anyways. You could definitely see that happening. I don't think that's outside the realm of possibility at all. I think like if the knight isn't someone in that family, that like probably is the case, you know?
Yeah. It is so weird with like the red herrings in Deltarune, because do they mean something or like do they not? Because obviously we had like the chapter 1 ending with like the Kris thing, and obviously when you start up chapter 2 you're like, oh, Kris just ate the pie. But it seems like they did something more because they did like plug in the TV, which sets up the chapter 3 stuff. I don't really know if like the antlers are supposed to be a red herring. I don't know. If I'm being honest, you know, just as an observation, I will say the actual antlers themselves, they do resemble a deer's antlers, but like the way they're like shaped is like they're super long, and none of the holidays have like that long of antlers. Like even in the Des flashback, like she just has like very like regular size antlers, where the knight's is like super long and it like is angled. It like goes out and then forward, you know?
Yeah.
So, what do you think on the probability scale?
Probability, I mean, I'm gonna have to say like a 3.
3? Okay.
I personally don't think that it's gonna be how it goes. I guess, again, I could sort of see if it's not one of the holidays, but I firmly believe one of the holidays is the night, and that's why I don't necessarily think that that's the red herring.
How about fun?
I mean, it's like, I don't really think, if we're looking in terms of the fun scale, like a Woody theory is the most fun. I don't really think it's that fun of a theory.
Okay.
So like, I'm not trying to be harsh here, but like, I mean, it's kind of is. So I'd say like a 2.
Okay, and narrative?
Narrative, I don't think it's bad in narrative. I'd say like probably like a 7.
Okay.
I think it's like, I like the idea.
I think for me, probability, I'll give it like a 5 out of 10. I think there's like a 50-50 chance. For fun value, I give this one a 7.
Really?
I think it's fun only for the fact that it leads to more possibilities.
Okay.
So
I
think
yeah,
that
I like
is-
that interpretation.
I think that is fun for me, having the door opened.
Yeah.
And more speculation, so that's why I'm giving it a 7. Narrative, I'm gonna give it like a 4. It's not really like a story going on here. It's just more of just like, you know, the door, just leaving the door open, which I do like, but you know, it's not really like a story. So
We were pretty different on
yeah, I know we were.
on our
So-
interpretations on that.
This is why we have to have Luke join us, so we can get a variety of the reviews. It can't just be me. So, all right, next theory. All right, so this one is Susie is a meta-narrative character for a speedrunner.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
Meta narrative, meaning like,
Meta-narrative, Undertale tells a meta-narrative with like the save and the save points. You know that?
nope.
No. What do you mean no?
What do you? Well, I need more elaboration. Like, what do you mean?
Like the save points.
Yeah.
Like it's an actual thing in Undertale.
Yeah.
But the meta narrative that it's trying to tell is like in correlation to like our video games. Like it's using our real world video games knowledge of saving to tell a story.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
yeah. It's like not a self insert, but it's like an insert of something else, and like almost a way to use commentary on it in a sense.
Another good example would be like, think of like Gaster and how he like sort of created Deltarune. He's sort of a like meta narrative character for like a game developer. Like that's what he
I got it.
represents.
So then, yeah, okay. Susie is like a speedrunner. Okay, I got it. I get it.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, okay.
So Susie is a meta-narrative character for a speedrunner by WillowPolangco-Kenny. Also, yeah, warning, I probably will butcher basically a ton of names, so I apologize in advance, but we're moving on. So they say, here I have what I believe to be a very interesting and powerful theory. So I realized at the very end of chapter 4 something quite odd. The prophecies kind of are displayed like cards, and Susie punches the card. Then immediately after this, Ralsei talks about how nice Susie is. Nay, repeatedly. Ralsei is always talking about Susie being nice, and it is awfully suspicious when you remember that so far in every chapter, Susie has had a moment of interrupting dialogue or closing a choice box before it can be made. Chapter 1, your choices don't matter. In Chapter 2, the choice of Susie or Ralsei in the Cyber City. Chapter 3, interrupting Tenna. And Chapter 4, taking a bite of your sundae in the diner. This is a pattern with Susie, and attention is actively called to it. She repeatedly ends text early, so obviously you know where I'm going with this. The punch card is an item given given to you by the Nice Cream guy in Undertale that completely breaks speedruns by allowing you to skip dialogue and cutscenes completely. This is the unintended consequence of it opening its own text window. Basically, I think Susie, on some level, is literally embodying the speedrun world warping power of the punch card, and it is through this that she is going to break the prophecy. We know based on her strange responses to Ralsei's tutorials that she is maybe one of the only people completely unaware of the rules of this world. Despite this, she is able to break rules that nobody else is able to break. If she could figure out how to use this, she could be an unbelievable threat. Imagine a weird route fight in which Susie can close our fight menu before we can attack her, or even end the cutscene early and skip to having already beaten us before we even fight. I think this has some real weight to it, mostly because she is literally punches a card to break the prophecy, and is then immediately referred to as nice. That and her immediate insistence in the beginning of chapter 1 on speed, and her general rejection of the intended path. Also, it would be really cool. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, it kind of blew my mind a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. There are so many details in that like, that's awesome. I really, really like that theory, like a lot.
I like that theory
Like,
too. I think it's cool.
I think that's really cool, and I really see that being like a thing.
We have to have a weird route fight with Susie, and I
For
think
sure.
Susie will probably be like the big like weird route fight, like, you know, just like how Sans was for like Genocide.
Yeah.
But it's like, how is she gonna be like powerful?
The speedrun thing.
Yeah.
Being like the meta fight like that. Even like how like in Undertale, how Asgore destroys the spare
mercy
button. The mercy button. Yeah. And like stuff like that. Or like how like Sans in his fight has like the bones coming up in the menu, so you have to like
dodge it.
Yeah.
I think that would be fun.
I like that theory a lot.
Okay, so what do you think on probability?
Totally see this happening. I'm gonna say probably like a 9. I think even if, let's say, like it isn't like the meta fight for like speed running per se, like I think like in terms of a meta fight where that's happening, like 100%. But I really like the idea of speed running, you know, like I'd say 9 at least.
Okay, and fun?
I'd also give it a 9.
Okay, wow.
I give it an 8, probably like an 8 to a 9. And I'm gonna say like
let's go whole numbers.
8.5. No, it can't be 8.5.
Whole numbers, come on.
Whole numbers.
That's why we got the 1 through 10 scale and not 1 through 5.
We'll say 8. 8 on fun. And the narrative, I really fuck with that in the narrative. I'd say 10 on narrative.
Wow.
Honestly, like narrative, I'd give it a 10. I really like that theory.
For me, probability. So we gotta judge it. So as a whole, I really like the conclusion. I think the conclusion has a strong sort of like thing. Yes, Susie will be a weird route fight in which she has like some meta narrative power to sort of be able to like break the actual like fight system. I really like that, and I think that itself has a high probability. But the sort of evidence that they bring up with like relating it to like Nice Cream punch cards, you know, I think that evidence, like, I don't think that was what Toby is trying to go for. So for that, I'm going to give it a 7 probability.
Okay.
Because I think the conclusion, yes, I believe. I just don't think the actual, like, evidence with the Nice Cream punch card is that strong. But the actual, like, yes, Susie breaking the sort of norms of the games with the text box and all that stuff, yes, that is good evidence. For fun value, I'm going to give it a 9 as well. 9, it is super fun.
It's so fun.
Super fun. And I would love for Toby to actually like acknowledge the speedrunner sort of community with some sort of like meta narrative thing.
I feel like this would be, if he does, that's the way he's gonna do it with Susie.
Narrative, I think I might have to give that, I think I have to also give that another 9. I think that narrative is really good, because what I was going to go into is I think the weird route, like if you are a speedrunner, the weird route is just objectively faster. Chapter 2, you basically rush straight to the end and you're like saving a ton of time. So I could see a thing where Toby sort of like flips that on his head. It's like, okay, you want to save time? Well, now we have a character, Susie, that's going to literally like cut the fight in half, because she's just gonna like cut straight to your defeat, because she is a representation of that. The only thing, and I sort of bring this up in my video, I think Susie will sort of get this power because of Gerson's hammer.
Really?
It has an effect that's like question mark, and we don't really know what that does or what will trigger it. The important thing about the weird route is that you still get like every secret boss. You're still able to do that. So I feel like if you do the weird route and Susie has that like Justice Axe equipped or whatever that Gerson gives her, then she could probably utilize this power. But that's a little add-on, you know. But I really like that theory. I like it a lot.
Yeah, great theory.
Speaking of Gerson, Luke, we have this theory. Gerson is Toby's self-insert, and this is by Daniel Linhares.
Okay.
They say, I did a theory about this on Reddit, but the basics are that Toby used Gerson as a vessel to discuss writing a story in Deltarune's future. It all boils down to, as seen in his fight, the chapters of Lord of the Hammer mirror the Deltarune chapters in some way. This also comes with the unintended side effect of the possibility of there not being a 7th chapter, as seen by yet again the fight dialogue. With that, I also think that the prophecy was the first draft of the story of Deltarune, and what Toby aimed to change. Stories change is a fact constantly repeated by Gerson, and considering the Lord of the Hammer books in relation to Dragon Blazers and that of Deltarune, there is definitely a ton of things to analyze about him.
Yeah, definitely. Even like in his fight where like Gerson like kind of teases chapter 5, it's clear Deltarune is like kind of mirroring that story.
Yeah. But is Gerson Toby's self-insert?
And that's where I'm struggling, because I feel like it's like, I don't know if he's necessarily Toby's self-insert, but like, it's like the opposite, where you know how you said with the Speedrunner one?
Yeah.
How like you were like, I like the conclusion, not the evidence. I feel like I like the evidence here, but not the conclusion. Like having the story changing and no chapter 7, like I think that is really cool. And I feel like that, I never really thought of that, and that could be really interesting. But I don't know if he's necessarily, if Gerson's a self-insert.
Okay, so probability scale.
I don't think it's a self-insert, so probably like a 2. But narrative, I'd have to say like a 7.
Okay, and fun?
I think it's fun. I'd say like a 6.
Okay, for me, probability scale, 10 out of 10, because
Really?
you know, I'm not gonna say like Gerson is like Toby's like 100% self-insert, like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
there's like 2 types of like self-inserts. Like there's the one that's literally just like, this is me, like like this, I put my character.
Yeah.
I think Gerson as like a self-insert for Toby, like this is like his sort of like mouthpiece and what like he's sort of like representing.
Yeah.
I think yes, that is 100%. Like Toby is getting up there in years, all right? And especially in compared to like modern gaming, the games that he grew up with and the games that he enjoyed are seen as old. And like Gerson, you know, is represented as like an old man. And
Okay.
so,
Yeah.
and Gerson's like, you know, I'm old. Toby.
Yeah.
Toby also be like, I'm old, you know?
I don't know. Does he?
I mean, I think he definitely like sees himself as that.
Yeah.
And I also think like with the whole like stuff with Gerson where he's like the story became so overwhelming that it consumed the author, I think is Toby like speaking from his own experience from like Undertale and stuff.
Yeah.
'Cause-
I could see that. Yeah, definitely.
Toby never expected Undertale to blow up as
True.
big as it did. And yeah, it did kind of like overwhelm him. With Gerson, like, remember seeing like the youth needing to pick up the pen and all that stuff? Like that is talking about like all the fan works that Toby has seen and all that stuff. So yeah, I think Gerson is like 100% a mouthpiece for Toby. But is he like a 1-to-1 self-insert? Like it's just like, like imagine if like, instead of Gerson, it was just like a human guy with like,
Well, yeah,
with
I
like
mean,
dog ears and whatever. Like that would
Yeah.
be like, yes, that's Toby's self-insert. But Gerson is like a mouthpiece for Toby, and I think that's what you sort of meant by a self-insert. And yes, that's a 10 out of 10 probability.
Okay. Yeah. Well. Okay.
In terms of fun value, I don't think it really changes too much. I don't think it's like, I think I'm gonna give it like a 4 on the fun scale, only because it's like, this is kind of something like I already like knew. Like when I was playing the thing, I was like, yeah, I knew it. So it doesn't really like add too much fun because it's like already, I think, an idea that you're supposed to get. Narrative wise, I think narrative, I'm gonna get it like a 5. I don't think it's like trying to tell like a super like grand story or whatever, but you know, I think that is definitely what Deltarune's trying to go for right now, is just having Gerson be sort of a mouthpiece for Toby. So, and his experience with being a creator and having it like blow up and everything. But yeah, I like that theory because I think that that is like the interpretation you're supposed to be getting, especially if you know Toby Fox really well. So, all right, next theory. So this one is by Butter, and it is Des will die. And this section has spoilers for Mother 3. So if you don't want that, then you can skip over to this time code. So, crackpot theory plus Mother 3 spoilers. I believe that like Mother 3, which inspired Deltarune and Undertale, the person who is the knight, Des, will die. I believe this is because in Mother 3, Klaus, Lucas's brother, dies after gaining his memories back. He does this because of the pain he caused to his brother and the rest of the world. I think something like this could happen in Deltarune with Des. It'd be a very good heartbreaking scene for chapter 7. Fakey, you legend. Thank you, bro, for calling me a legend. But anyway, Luke, what do you gotta say? Luke is the mother expert at the table.
Yeah, so. I do really enjoy like that idea, but I don't think Des is the knight.
Okay. And okay, so we got to preface that, all right? Everyone can have their own opinion.
Yeah, and that's totally fine. Yeah, I personally don't think Des is the knight at all. Mm-hmm. So that's why I don't think that it's going to go down like that.
But if Des was the knight, what do you think?
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10, okay.
For sure, absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of Mother 3 mirroring and inspiration in Deltarune. And I think if Des were the knight, like, I would be pretty damn certain that that's exactly how it was going to go down. But I don't think Des is the knight, so for me, like, that kind of ruins the whole theory for me personally. You know what I mean? And that's where it's like hard. But do
you think the knight will die?
I think the knight will die. Yeah,
that's kind of like the big conclusion.
I think so. Okay. And I think with who I think is the knight, Rudy, I think Rudy will die. I think the person who is the knight will die, and I think it'll be going that exact way. I just don't think Des is the knight. So that's why I feel like I'm having a little bit of a hard time like rating this one, because like I agree with, and I could totally 100% see every single thing on this theory absolutely happening, just different character. Because I'd give this 10 for probability if it wasn't Des.
Okay, so what's the real probability?
In a technical sense, since they're saying Des is the knight, 0, because I don't think Des is the knight. You know what I mean? So it's like,
but the whole thing is like, the knight will die and it's most likely Des.
But I don't think it's.
Well, you gotta factor it in. You believe the knight will die, right?
Yeah.
But so then you don't think the knight is Des. So
then I'm gonna say like
a 5 out of 10, 50-50.
Yeah. I'll give it a 5 then for that.
Okay,
but I'm just gonna also say though, like, I think every other part of that theory I wholeheartedly believe in.
Okay, fun value. What do you think?
I mean, I think it's a fun theory because I'm biased and love Mother 3.
Okay, so what would you?
So I think it's pretty damn fun. So I'd have to say probably like a 9.
Okay,
because I think that's fun and I like Mother 3.
And narrative.
For what they're saying is a pretty good narrative, except for the Des part. So
okay, so
6.
maybe that 6. Okay, I was about to say maybe that bumps it down a little bit.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm not gonna lie, I've been spoiled on Mother 3. I haven't played it, but
great game. Play it.
I will. I
the
do
fan
translation,
so good.
I definitely plan to play it, especially now knowing that it apparently influenced Deltarune so much.
You can tell.
Probability, because like the knight right now for me, my opinion on who the knight is very like flexible. I don't really have like a one set yes, but I can see it being many different options. But I feel like every single option has its own flaws, so that's why I'm like flexible. Des is the knight, sure. Mother 3 influence, I could definitely see. The knight dying, that's the thing though. Will the knight die? Will Toby take in a new direction? Will the knight die? I think yes and no. I'm gonna give this one a 7 probability, because I could see the knight dying, quote unquote, but I could also see something else happen, and that might be saved for something later. Fun value, I'm gonna give this one a 5.
You're not biased like me?
I'm not biased like you. And also, as a creator myself, not even just with like YouTube, but like, my own storytelling, like I run D&D and all that stuff. Having things like be like set, defined by your inspirations, like you were inspired by this, so this has to play out like this. That to me is like yeah, we are inspired by stuff, we take aspects of stuff, but like having it be like 1-to-1, I don't know, I don't think that's super fun.
Yeah.
And I would like to see something new happen. And then narrative wise, I'm gonna give that an 8, because I think narratively something will have to happen to the knight, and the knight will have to like have its demise or whatever. And I think narratively that tells a good story. That's what I give it. All right, this one, we got a classic. All right,
classic.
I don't know if Luke knows this one, but
okay.
this is a classic on the channel. Okay, Starwalker Angel Theory.
Oh boy.
By Ace. All right, so
10. Starwalker's in it.
Starwalker's in it. 10.
I'd say probability 10. Fun 10. Narrative 10.
We're moving on.
Yeah, moving on.
Okay, but actuality. Okay, so this is what Ace has to say. Okay, Starwalkers are creatures from Chapter 1. They have angelic wings and use a star-themed attack. The original Starwalker is also one of the few Darkners that can appear in other dark worlds. Titans also have angelic imagery associated with them, and the Titan from Chapter 4 has a shield that is a star shape. just like Starwalker. Now, the original Starwalker is turned to stone in the second sanctuary, but is back to normal in the third sanctuary, in the scene where all your recruits catch Jockington before he falls. Maybe Starwalker can't stay in the second sanctuary because it was made by Susie and not by Kris or the Knight, and maybe not supposed to have been made. I don't really have a conclusion for this rambling, so I'm gonna just say that this is a correct theory and is not meant to be taken too seriously. It is just for fun. Smiley face.
I don't know. I don't really.
Okay, let me give my review
Okay.
first, okay? Probability 10. No, I'm joking. As much as I would like to give it a 10 probability. I'm gonna give this a probability. If we're being realistic, I have to give it like a 2.
Yeah.
Or actually,
I'd say 1. I have to go
unfortunately,
1.
probability I have to give it like a 1.
I don't think at all. I will say I'm a little confused. What is like with the whole Starwalker thing? I feel like it's an inside joke I'm not a part of.
Like, what do you mean? Just like
I feel like-
Starwalker in general?
Like, I don't get it. It's like everyone's always talking about Starwalker. I see the Star. I know it's like a meme, but like it's like everyone talks about this character like it's like the most important detail of solving Deltarune, or like quote unquote solving Deltarune. And it's like
It's a meme.
I feel like he was in like one. I like don't even remember playing through the game and seeing that character. Like I genuinely don't remember Starwalker at all.
I will say, all right, Starwalker is a joke.
Okay,
Just so you
I had
know.
I figured.
It's
Yeah.
a joke character, but it's weird. Starwalker is like in every chapter. Like even chapter 4, the one where like Lancer and Rules are not in, Starwalker is still in.
Lancer is in chapter 4
Where?
in the town.
We're talking about in the Dark World, Church Dark World.
He is in the dark world in the town. When you go into the dark world to go into your town, you can like have Lancer and he goes on Susie's back and like rides her
No,
back.
we're talking about Church Dark World, like the Dark World in the church, not Castletown.
So Castletown doesn't count?
No, because that's a Dark World that's been there since day 1, bro. We're talking about the new Dark
Yeah.
World in chapter 4.
Okay. And where is Starwalker in that?
Like Ace said, literally, he's there to catch Jockington, and then Oso.
Wait, I don't remember that at all.
I don't
Am
think-
I
I don't
having
think
like a mass psychosis right now? Like,
No,
why do I
I-
not remember any of this?
Because I don't think you got Starwalker.
Oh, that's probably why.
Because you could only get Starwalker in chapter 1, and like,
I definitely didn't then.
then you don't have him.
Okay, yeah.
So
well,
that's why you don't see him.
that's probably why I have no. I feel like I shouldn't even like grade this theory at all because I just don't. I'm just gonna not even.
no,
rate this one.
we'll give your grading. But yeah, no, it is weird that Starwalker is in like every chapter. Probability, I'm giving 1. I'm sorry, Ace. I love it to death. Fun value, it's gonna get a 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. If I could give it a 20 out of 10, I would.
Yeah, anything with Starwalker, I guess.
This theory is fun. I like it because how funny would that be? And going off of that, narratively, I'm gonna give it a 7, which might seem high.
That seems really high.
Because I think it would be hilarious and that'd be a really funny story if Starwalker was the angel.
That would be pretty funny, but I don't think it's gonna happen because
No, that's why it gets a 1. That's why it gets a 1.
Okay,
But
yeah, sure, it would be pretty funny.
Starwalker do be got on the power though. All right, but Luke, what do you think as a non-believer?
Probability 1, fun value 9, maybe 10.
Okay.
Yeah, 10 for fun. Narrative, I'd say like 4. I don't know. I'm not gonna lie. Like I felt like it wasn't really a theory. It was just kind of like observations and no real conclusion.
The conclusion is Starwalker's the angel. What do you mean?
Cut that out of the video. Yeah, narratively, I mean, I'd say it was like a 5. I don't know. I mean, it would be fun and it's cool, but I feel like
See, this is the thing. You also have to think. Starwalker's whole character is about being pissed off. How pissed off would you be if you found out that the big, evil, great threat, the ending of the game, was a dumbass joke character all along? And
Because-
that is the theming of Starwalker.
I feel like that's also low-key the theming of Deltarune, so I would actually be kind of hyped.
You would be hyped that a joke character would be the big final boss.
Because it's Deltarune.
like, instead of Flowey at the end of Undertale, it was Onion San. You would be
Yeah,
hyped.
I'd be fucking pissed. Yeah, no, you're. But I feel like though, because Starwalker is such a meme, if it was Starwalker, like I'd be like that's kind of goated.
People would be hyped if like Woody was the final boss. So
I would be hyped if Woody was the final boss too.
even if it makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah,
All right, Luke. We'll write you down as a non-believer and we'll move on.
yeah, that's fine.
All right, so this theory is Kris created Castletown, and this is by ThatOneGuy. So Castletown and Chapter 3 are the only fountains to have dust piles in them. We know dark fountains are different depending on who created them, and Kris made Chapter 3. We know Kris knew how to create a dark fountain before Chapter 2, plugging the TV in between chapters, so it would also be retrospective foreshadowing of their knowledge of this. Kris already has a save file in the Castletown Dark World before Chapter 1. Kris's apprehension towards the promise with Carol could be why they back away from the closet, as once they enter it, there is no turning back. Could also be evidence that the night closes the door on them. Kris's connection to the shelter and being human could explain why they can make a fountain of pure darkness like Castletown.
And the shelter connections linked to the Castletown being named after the creator's name in the survey program.
Kris does have more power than they let on, more damage to Tenna when the mantle quest is done, more damage in the night fight when people are down, so they could be holding back in a similar way, which is why chapter 3 isn't a pure dark fountain. They could have spoken to and explained things to Ralsei pre-chapter 1, which would also give more context to their planned think about Susie talks. Kris obviously loves Azrael a lot, so making someone similar to him when making a fountain makes sense, and lack of a connection to Gerson, so he couldn't live in the Castletown despite being of pure darkness. Alright, so what do you think?
Probability 10.
Damn! That's high.
I feel like I totally could see that. I mean, like, who else would have made Castletown like that?
I have a prediction I'll bring up when I get my review, but...
Okay. I feel like I'd say fun, not very high, just because that's like, seems like that is the case. So like fun, I'd say like a 3, and narrative, I'd probably say like 10, because there's a lot of good evidence there.
So for me, probability, I'm gonna give it a 7.
Okay.
Only because I think Gaster has a high chance of also creating the Castletown Dark Fountain.
Oh, and it's like to trap everyone in there?
No, just like because, it's one of pure darkness. Gaster is experimenting with Dark Worlds from entry 17. Ralsei knows everything about the prophecy, which would make sense if it was given to him by Gaster, because Gaster is like the creator of Deltarune.
Damn, I kind of like that theory better.
And then, obviously the name of Castletown being named after like the creator of the survey program, the one that Gaster runs, would make sense because Gaster would make the Castletown Dark Fountain.
Yeah.
So that's my thing. People are so like, ooh, Gaster can't actually be involved in the story. Like he can't,
actually
like do anything or whatever.
Cap.
People believe that because
Gaster,
Gaster's always like this like looming entity, and he can never like physically touch anything or whatever. At least that's what some people think.
Do you think Gaster used Kris to create the?
That's what I'm saying. That's why I give it like a 7, because I could see like
but Kris did technically make it then.
I guess, but I'm saying that's a possibility I could see.
Okay.
I'm not saying it's fact. I'm just saying I could see Gaster going over, be like, Kris, go make that Dark Fountain.
Yeah, and then Kris makes it. But technically, I mean, then that would still mean Kris made the Dark Fountain.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
That's exactly what happened.
I'm saying it's a possibility. I'm saying there's also a possibility that Gaster himself just made it himself.
True. Okay. Yeah,
like,
you're right.
While
you're
experimenting, he made that.
Yeah. Okay.
That's why I give that fun value. I'm gonna give it like you said, like a 3. I think I agree.
Yeah. I mean, it's not really. I think it's a really good theory. It's just not like
good.
a fun theory.
It's not fun. It's not like, damn, we're gonna have a party with this one. No.
Exactly.
It's like, and then narrative, I'm gonna give that a 9. I think it ties in well to the narrative. I think it also explains why Ralsei is like, looks like Azrael, all that stuff.
Okay.
Because I also kind of believe in the notion that Ralsei is sort of like a dreamer Sona for Kris, like what they would look like if they were like a monster. But yeah, I really like that theory. So good job.
Yeah, that's a great theory. Thank you.
Eram is Kris's red horns. And this one's by Dijgit. Eram is Kris's red horns, not Ralsei. They were dropped in the bunker when Kris ran from whatever traumatic incident there took Des away. Let me read that again. Sorry.
Yeah, I was like, who the fuck is Eram?
Eram. Luke literally just like did like the phone meme where it's like, look at my phone. It's like, is this Eram? I'm like, yes. They were dropped in the bunker when Kris ran from whatever traumatic incident there took Des away / made them go to art therapy, and losing them represents Kris literally losing their childhood innocence.
Since the shelter has a dark world inside, the red horn headband would have became a Darkner.
They seek out only Kris, mocking them and egging them on to commit monstrous or strange acts because they, as an object in the light world, existed to make Kris blend in as a monster rather than a human. The sprite has little horns, and the door in the ice palace to reach them literally has red horns. Also, it's heavily implied Eram is the one who stole the shadow mantle from Sham, which fits them sharing Kris's personality as a prankster. I really think Eram is going to come back as a secondary antagonist like Friend and make Kris face their identity as a human / vessel.
Interesting. I also agree we're not done with Eram.
Like, Luke, what is like your opinion on Eram? Not really like diving too deep into the game of Deltarune. What do you think Eram is? Like, do you think Eram is just like literally just like a secret boss and like that's it, or
no? I think Eram Eram is like actually probably pretty important to the story and is one of Gaster's like underlings or puppets.
Okay.
I thought Eram was like the knight, literally just like a I don't know, like an insert for the knight. Like
Yeah.
it's not the knight we're like fighting, but like Eram, you know what I mean? Like Eram just is the knight.
Representation of
Of the knight. I think that personally, that's kind of what I got out of doing that minigame.
So what would you give on a probability scale for this theory? That Eram is like the red horn headband that Kris used to have as a kid.
That's a really good interpretation, I think. I could see it.
Yeah.
I personally think it's the knight, but I think like I could see that too. So I'd say I'm going to give it a 5 just because I see other things as well. I do like that. So I'd say like a 5 on probability. Fun scale, I think that actually is a pretty fun theory.
Okay.
That's something I really would not have thought about. I'm going to give it like a 7 on fun. And narrative, I mean, there's some good evidence that they have to support that. So I'd say like an 8 on narrative.
Okay.
I like that theory.
For me, probability, I'm giving it a 5.
So I give it, yeah. Well, why a 5?
I'm going to keep it real, all right? I love all the theories, and I think all of them are super interesting, but I really just do not see Eram being anything more than just like a representation of the knight.
Yeah.
Because we literally get the shadow mantle from them that is used to defeat the knight, and I feel like they're just like a part 1 of the part 2 like secret boss fight with the knight. You do this secret boss, and then you get the means to defeat like the actual quote-unquote secret boss, which is the knight. And like Eram and the knight share like a lot of similarities. Both have the horns, you know, both like literally like laugh a lot and like mock
Bunker.
Kris, the bunker, literally like their base of operations. They both create like after images of themselves. They have ties to Gaster, the image, the friend in the fight with Eram, and then the holes in the hands with the knight. But I will not lie, like that door like literally is like a red horn headband on the door. Like,
Yeah.
that's literally what it is. And to me, I feel like it more represents like Kris's like past. Like this is like doors to their past rather than like literally being like this Eram is the red horned. But I could definitely see that interpretation. So for fun value, I'm gonna give it an 8. I really like that.
It's a fun theory.
I think it's fun and would tie into like the whole red horn headband, because that's the thing. Like we need to know like what is up with that headband,
I
because
know.
it seems like really important to like Kris's like character.
For 100%.
But like we haven't seen it like at all. Narrative wise, I'm gonna give that a 9, because I think narratively that would be really cool. It give us a lot of insight into Kris's past and help us like explore that character more. But yeah, that theory is really good.
I like that theory.
Personally, just for me, I think Eram is just the knight, because in chapter 3 everyone gets like a video game counterpart, so it makes sense that the knight would also have one. All right, so this one is by IcedCoral, and it is determination doesn't exist in Deltarune. This is actually hinted at multiple times in the game. Whenever you save, it says the blank fills you with blank. Never it fills you with determination.
That is true.
The only mentions of determination are when Gaster, or whoever is the game over screen guy, says that the player is determined to beat the knight, which fits into how it seemingly disappeared / forgotten from the world of Deltarune. More evidence is the flowers in Asgore's basement. All of the flowers in there represents the souls except the red one. Determination is the only one that is missing. This also ties into magic not existing. If the monster's souls were made of magic in Undertale and magic doesn't exist in Deltarune, then it would make sense for the human souls to not be made of determination either. I think it also like kind of explains as well like why monsters are also able to create dark fountains.
Yeah.
When Queen like describes like if one was determined enough. Determination is like not like a power, but it just more so like how it is like in our real world. Like it just
Is.
like it's like a feeling.
Yeah, that's kind of what we're going off here and what they're saying. I mean, I'd have to say probability, like I'd say 10, honestly. There's a lot of evidence that is very true, and that's like 100% something I definitely see Toby doing. I mean, I think it's kind of fun, I guess. Like I'd say like 6 on fun value. It's not like crazy, but like it's pretty cool. Narrative wise, I'd say 10.
You think it tells a compelling story?
Yeah, because I 100% agree with it.
Probability, I'm gonna give that an 8. I think determination has a chance of existing. I don't know. But I could also see determination being something else. There's like a different power. It's called something else. I don't know. I'm gonna give fun value. I don't know. This one's like, to me, I don't think it's too fun. I feel like there's a lot more fun that could be had. There was a power. There was like a determination power.
But it's also kind of fun that there isn't this time around.
I mean,
like
for
a
you,
cool
I
thing.
guess. But
yeah.
for me, I don't know. I'm gonna give this like a 4.
Okay.
Narrative-wise, I think 7. I think that tells a good narrative and being a contrast to Undertale and how this power is just
nothing. And I also think it correlating to like monsters with no magic and everything, I think that also makes sense. There's something going on with determination. There's something
100%.
going on with like monsters magic, why they don't have it, and why Susie bleeds. Like what? Huh?
Yeah.
So
I mean, I think that Susie's a half monster.
I know, and I think after seeing that in chapter 4, you were like, yes, theory confirmed. But I don't know. People are saying that maybe all monsters bleed in Deltarune.
But we don't know. I mean, like the only one we've seen is Susie.
I mean, people also say like in the weird route, like maybe like Noelle bleed. I think there's like one of like the red dots is called like blood something.
Oh.
So, I mean, what do you think?
I'm going to say that's not canon.
Not canon, not canon.
It doesn't fit into my agenda.
We must maintain the agenda at all costs.
Jokes, obviously. Everyone just going to...
It's not a joke
that,
because the agenda must be must be maintained.
Yeah.
But yeah, we like your theory. Thank you.
Yeah, it was a good theory.
This is a short theory, all right?
Okay.
This is from Mario Memer. Image_friend is the second voice. I have a really dumb theory. It's simple too. I don't know why I think this is, but I think image_friend is the person who interrupts the intro person, Gaster, and puts you in Kris instead of the vessel. Also, to build off of that, I also think the image_friend is the demon that Kris summoned as a kid. That's the theory.
I mean, I'm gonna have to say narrative. I'm gonna give that one a 0.
Narrative 0.
There's no evidence supporting any of that.
Well, I think
I
think you're misinterpreting the narrative. Like that would affect more probability.
I guess
narrative.
But like there was no.
We're looking at this as a story. The story is that image_friend interrupted the intro sequence. Does that tell a compelling story? That's what narrative is.
I guess, but there's no evidence.
Then that would affect probability.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, probability 0. I'd say probability 0, narrative 3.
You think there's no chance that image_friend interrupted the intro sequence?
Well,
you think Starwalker being the angel has 1 point higher of a chance of happening than image underscore.
I'm being a little harsh on that one. Yeah, I mean, because you're so right. Like, there's no chance Starwalker being the angel has more weight than. I'm just saying, based off of like the evidence I'm given from this theory.
All right, Mario, you're a long-time watcher.
Yeah,
I appreciate that. You've been supporting us.
Respect Mario heavy.
We respect you, but there really was like no evidence,
and that's why I'm having a hard time. You know what I mean? Because like I feel like that's like an interesting point because I it's not like that I don't see that being a thing, but I'm judging off what we were given on this theory.
Yeah.
And I feel like I can't really give that in probability very high, you know?
Yeah.
Like, so that's why I have to say probability would be like a 3, I guess a 3, just because I could like almost see it happening.
Yeah.
Fun. Yeah, I get that. I kind of like how like that's like the demon Kris summoned as like a kid. That's kind of an interesting point. So I think that's kind of fun. So I'd say like 5 on fun, and then I mean narrative, like I don't know, like it. I'd say also like
if image_friend was the second voice, do you think that's a compelling story?
I guess so.
All right, so then that's the narrative. What would you rate it on?
Like a 5.
There you go.
Yeah.
For me, probability, I'm gonna give it 2. Only because like image_friend like is probably working with Gaster like directly.
Yeah.
So why would they interrupt Gaster's sequence?
They just got excited.
They got excited. Yay! Yay! I get to be a part of the game. Yay! Fun value
0. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I think it's fun. I think 6.
I said it was a fun theory.
I think 6. I think it's fun.
It's kind of fun, I guess. It's like okay, that'd be kind of cool.
I think it's fun. I think it's kind of cool, you know.
Yeah.
You know, I guess narrative. I'm gonna give that. I think I agree with you. I think a 5.
Yeah.
You know, it has some possibilities of telling a compelling story. I could also see it somewhat going against what we already know a little bit with like Gaster, but we appreciate that theory. All right, so this one, the night is Deltarune's Flowey, and this is by Deimos.
That already kind of got hooks in me.
Okay, so we know Deltarune is a parallel story to Undertale, and there is a Chekhov's nuke of Des being missing, and the knight does not have a true identity yet. Des is the knight, but in the same way, Flowey is Asriel. Des is dead, and the Dark World revived her. since a corpse/fallen down monster could be seen as an inanimate object, despite how horrible that sounds.
No, I like that a lot, actually.
Similar to Flowey, she doesn't have a soul. She wants to see her family and friends again. This would explain why Gerson's revival, since she would have been close to him, but she won't feel anything even after trying to talk to them. Flowey wasn't really evil until the thought of killing people and then resetting came to his mind. I think Des is at the same point. She's trying to spread darkness but not cause the roaring yet. Why wouldn't she just do it already if she wanted? Gerson asks Susie about the knight and he seems fond of them, which is really weird if the knight was evil, which helps with this theory. This also helps us to figure out what the roaring is. Carol is definitely in on the night stuff, bringing people to the bunker to quote-unquote sacrifice. These sacrifices could be to create a vessel for Des and bring all the Darkners into the vessel to bring her back. Sound familiar? It's what happens at the end of Undertale's True's Pacifist when Flowey becomes Azrael, and I think the roaring is that, an imbalance between light and dark caused by the revival of Des.
I think that's a pretty interesting theory. There's some things in there I like the Dark World could think like a corpse is an inanimate object. I actually really like that.
I mean, that we already kind of, that would also tie into like why Gerson comes back, because that is literally what happens with Gerson. So
like I do like that, but I'm gonna be real here. Like I again don't think Des is the knight, and I also think Des's role like in the code and stuff is like her being like in some form like alive. I have to say probability on that one. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna say like a 2, but I think narratively I'm gonna say like an 8, because I think like there's a lot of interesting like evidence presented here on that type of theory.
Yeah.
So I'd say that, and then fun. I'd say it's like a 5, middle of the road.
For me, and I'm sorry to keep being this guy, but like there is a big piece of evidence that you kind of missed out that will actually strengthen your theory, and it's that in the knight's theme, Black Knife, there is actually a Azrael motif, which is in the Azrael True Pacifist fight. It's called Burn in Despair or Burn and Despair. I forget exactly the wording, but it literally plays when he has like the big angel wings and he's like blasting you or about to blast you with the big beam. And it's like boom, boom, ba-dum, boom, ba-dum, which is like the same sort of thing that the knight has in Black Knife with the opening. Definitely is a connection too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think probability, I think I'm going to give it a 6. If Des is the knight, I think there definitely is a connection to Azrael with like Flowey. I don't know if it's exactly Flowey, but like definitely Azrael and like the True Pacifist boss fight definitely has a connection with the motif and stuff. Fun value, I'm gonna give this one an 8.
Okay.
I think it's really fun. Having a parallel to Flowey in any way is fun, and having it be tied directly to like the big antagonist is fun. And then narrative wise, I'm gonna give that a 9, because I also think that is
narratively that's really a really strong theory. Like there's a lot, and I like how much even like for the future and end game that they talk about.
Yeah,
that's set up,
and I think that would be really cool. We get this character that's basically teased all throughout, just like how we got teased about Azrael. The stories are parallel but with different characters. I think that's narratively cool. All right, next one. So this one is Joe Biden. No, I'm joking.
Joe Biden is in Deltarune.
Imagine Joe Biden is actually the president.
A dark world.
Is actually the president of Hometown.
That'd be hype.
Nah, this
How
one.
did I get here?
This one is Lead Theory, and this is by ComicFranz.
Like the material?
Yes. I think, Luke, you're going to love this one, okay?
Okay.
So, Hometown has a lead poisoning epidemic that is the source of all the dark worlds.
Oh, you're so right. I do fuck with this theory heavy.
There is actually a massive deposit of lead directly underneath Hometown, which seeps into the lake and in turn the town's water supply. Stab it into the ground, draws lead fumes to the surface, creating dark fountains. This is why Jockington's speech patterns are different in Chapter 4. He and everyone else in Hometown are literally getting stupider by the day from drinking excess lead. Goners are just humans/monsters with too much lead in their system, which is why they turn gray and why image_depths appears in the Goner Maker sequence. Onion died of exposure.
Oh my god!
Onion died of exposure after going to investigate the Song of the Sea, likely becoming a goner themselves. Rudy's sickness is progressing since he covers his body since he covers his body in lead every single day, becoming the Roaring Knight. Carol is actively covering it up because she is a politician. Okay, so I think we both can give this a 10 out of 10 on the fun scale.
Easily. I'd argue like an 11 on fun scale. Yeah. That's the greatest thing I've ever heard. That unironically like rivals Woody Theory, I think, on fun. That was incredible. Hear me out on narrative here. I have to say narrative on that. Unironically 10. And
whoa. Okay, so you think Dark World's being lead poisoning is a compelling narrative.
I didn't say
this is like
I didn't say it was probable. I'm just saying like
but dude, you think that tells a compelling story.
It's an interesting twist.
Okay, so do you think like Mario being on shrooms and everything's a hallucination is a compelling story? Because that's like what this is basically.
Yeah, okay. Well, I guess I'll say an 8, but the reason I say it is this shit is fleshed out. I mean, every single thing that is in this theory, there's like an answer for, like, Anya going missing, Rune with lead, like, all of that, there's like some sort of explanation for everything, and that's why I think the narrative is so high, because they go so deep.
Well, that goes into probability.
Theory.
That goes into probability.
No, it doesn't, because there's no fucking way that like, let's be, this is a 0 on probability. Okay. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think narratively, there's a lot of good stuff for the theory, but like, obviously, that's not like what is happening here. Okay. You know what I mean?
Okay, so narrative, what do you give it? What's the final?
No, I'm gonna say a 9.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, and then
I mean, probability is 1. I mean, there obviously that's not like what it is, but I mean,
this ties in the Ghastly theory, though. This ties in the Ghastly.
Ghastly.
Oh my god! Yeah, because every single Dark World, the reason why they're all inside is because
it's why
they have the pipes underneath the boards, bro.
Like at the end of in chapter 4, when Kris gets like the phone call, it's because Kris is like involved in this like cover up with Carol.
It's all cover up, bro. It's all cover up, and that ties
great.
into your Roaring Knight, bro.
Yeah, I know it does, and they even said Rudy Knight. I mean,
Rudy's covering in lead, bro.
Yeah, that's why he's like the shape of him is dark, because it's like it's lead,
bro. That's why he's sick, bro. It's because lead.
That's the greatest theory for sure.
Probability
10.
This gets like my first 0, bro. Like, yes, Toby Fox, the fantastical story writer, is gonna make fucking everything fantastical, all lead poisoning, and everyone is like hallucinating and have like getting sick and delusional, all because of lead, bro. Yes.
I actually like really want Toby to like hear that theory. No, to hear this theory.
Oh, to hear it.
I just think that would be so fun. Like, I want Toby to read that theory and like see, you know what I mean? I just think that'd be so funny to get his reaction to that.
Fun. We already said 10.
Easy
10.
Easy 10.
Easy
10. Easy. I can't stress enough how easy of a 10 in fun that is.
And then narrative, I'm gonna give it a 7, only because like if we remove this from Deltarune and this was like a different game, and the whole entire narrative was that these fantastical worlds are lead poisoning,
that'd be a fire plot twist.
That would be fire. So,
who would have called that? This guy.
Yeah. So that's why, like, I'm giving it a 7. So yeah, I mean, there you go. You make Luke have like one of the biggest laughing fits
ever.
Congrats, bro. Congrats. So this one is the last prophecy is Castletown's Dark Fountain being sealed. And this is by Please Clap 7890. So the last prophecy is that Castletown Dark Fountain gets sealed. It makes sense as something that could be necessary to prevent the roaring. It's suitably tragic and would fit in as an ending to the story, and I think it explains a lot about the way Ralsei acts and views himself if he knows he and every other Darkner in Castletown die at the end of the story. I also think the last prophecy has...
I'm sorry.
What?
I just fucking thought of...
What, bro?
I just thought of Onion trying to investigate the lead in the water.
You just got that?
No, it's just so fucking funny.
That's why they don't appear in freaking chapter 4, bro. They're dead. They died.
I'm sorry.
Too much lead.
I'm sorry. It's just it's so fucking funny.
Onion's gonna come back up. It's gonna be like they're gonna be totally gray, and he's like, Kris, I have lead. All right, the last prophecy is that Castletown Dark Fountain gets sealed. It makes sense as something that could be necessary to prevent the roaring. It's suitably tragic and would fit as an ending to the story, and I think it explains a lot about the way Ralsei acts and views himself. If he knows he and every other Darkner in Castletown die at the end of the story, I also think the last prophecy has something that affects Ralsei the most, because Susie tells Ralsei, I wouldn't let that happen, Kris wouldn't let that happen, and obviously you wouldn't let that happen, which to me implies whatever the last prophecy is would be something that Ralsei in particular would never want.
I like that theory. I mean, I'd say probability like an 8 because I could definitely see that.
I will say, slight bit of counter evidence.
Okay.
Slight.
Well, let's hear the counter. All right, I'm a revoke probability 8 until I hear your counter evidence.
A little bit of counter evidence is because, so leading up to that last prophecy, the one that Susie like shatters, in order for the worlds to be saved or something like that, what's notable here is that it uses the term worlds, which means both the light world and the dark world. So sealing Castletown, like the source of pure darkness, and seemingly the thing that is sort of like the only dark fountain that should be left up, goes against that, because why would saving the worlds needs to be like closing the pure dark fountain?
True, because then you're not really saving the dark world. Okay.
And then also another thing is about Ralsei's character is Ralsei doesn't have a lot of respect for himself, as well as he views himself and the other like Darkners as just like serving a purpose.
True, like
for the Lightners.
Ralsei would literally die
yes.
for both Susie and Kris.
Yes. And like he even tells Tenna at the end of like chapter 3, like, Tenna, you're just making the Lightners worry about like being thrown away and all that stuff. You shouldn't make them worry.
Okay, that's a good point.
So like why would Susie be like, of course you would never want that, if Ralsei, like his whole character is that he would want that.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
That's what we're trying to fix with him.
You're so right.
You know, we're trying to make him his own person.
Yeah, no, you're so right.
Okay, so with that new stuff, probability, what do you think?
Yeah, now probability much lower, unfortunately. I'm sorry. No, I do kind of like the theory. I'm going to say probability 4. Fun, 6. And narrative. You see, like, leaving out the counter evidence on that, like, hurts
yeah, we're just
the
talking
narrative
about
a
pure
bit.
storytelling.
Pure storytelling. I'd say probably like a good. I'd also say a 7.
Yeah.
I think that was pretty good, pretty cool.
And this is why we got like the 3 different the judgments, because it's not all just about probability.
Yeah.
For me, I think this has been a theory that's sort of been circulating around the fan base a lot.
Oh, really?
Is that like Castletown will be sealed? I'm probably gonna give that like a 2. I really just don't see it. I don't know, especially with the worlds thing. Ralsei as a character, it doesn't, like, Susie knows that Ralsei doesn't value himself. Like, that's literally what we get to see in the beginning of chapter 3 and at the end of chapter 3, as well as if you go to Castletown Inn's room, that's literally the whole point. Susie knows this. Susie knows. So why would she, like, emphasize the fact that Ralsei wouldn't want it to happen? Fun value, I'm gonna give it a 5. Narrative-wise, I give that an 8. I think narrative-wise, the whole like last prophecy, the ending of Deltarune is needing to seal the dark fountains or like Castletown in general. I think narratively that is really good. We need to end the escapism, go back to the real world, all that jazz. Narratively 8, strong 8. And I think because this person did get like replies in their comment, and I think one of the replies that they did say was that this is just Castletown sealing and that the dark fountains will still exist, which I don't know changes their thing or not, but to me, I feel like Castletown's like the source, and like we literally go in every dark world and we seal.
Yeah.
So if you seal Castletown, I think you basically be getting rid of the dark worlds in general. Because
well, yeah, and even like Ralsei literally is in every fountain.
But yeah, I like the theory. I think it's like good narratively, but I don't see it happening. The night hasn't been opening the dark fountains.
Woo.
And
that's an interesting take.
Yeah. And this is by Dr. 11. So I don't believe the night, which is definitely Des.
Oh, no. Sorry.
Hey.
I'm sorry.
That's all right.
I'll let them cook.
Let them cook.
I'll let them cook.
A lot of people think Des is the night. Okay?
I know. It's such a popular theory, I guess. Like
it is like the theory.
No,
So.
it's not.
I know. All right, so I don't believe the knight, which is definitely Des, has actually been the one opening the dark fountains around town. When I was replaying chapter 4 and got to the phone call in the holiday house, I got confused by a certain line. The voice on the phone is Carol. Otherwise, the last part of the call makes absolutely no sense and is not paid off at all. They also alternate between white and red text, which we have seen Carol to do as well. Three-way call theory is dumb, fight me. That being said, she tells Kris that there will be a dark fountain opening up later in the church. How would she know about this? Most people justify this line through the idea that her and Des are working together. This is supported by the fact that Kris is apparently in leagues with Des as well. But that calls Carol's entire motivation into question. Why is she doing all this? To save Des? But then why would she not be working more directly with Kris, helping them out in the Dark Worlds instead of relying on Susie? Does she just lean too heavily in on the prophecy, not wanting to go against it? Does she really seem like the religious nut to you? I mean, there's no evidence definitely against Carol working together with the knight, but I just don't think it passes the vibe check. So assuming she isn't in direct correlation with the knight, why does she know about the church dark world? I suggest that she knew about it because she planned to create it, or at least get someone else to create it. If Carol's goal is finding and rescuing her daughter, and she knew that Des got lost in a dark world, then it makes sense she'd go about finding Des by opening more dark worlds. But Carol couldn't have made it in the church before us to open the dark world, so how did she do it? She didn't. Alvin did. The symbols in the shelter door indicate a 3-part number code to unlock the door. Why would you separate the code into 3 parts unless you intended on having 3 different people keep the different parts of the code? If one person was going to know all 3 parts, then there'd be no reason to split it up like that. You need all 3 of those people to open the door. So who has them? The pine tree symbol has been confirmed to be Carol, since we found her code in Des's guitar. That leaves the Deltarune and the police badge. The police badge seems pretty self-explanatory. Undyne is the chief of police, and Napstablook says that she gets really nervous when talking about the shelter. That leaves the Deltarune, which happens to be the symbol of the church. No one uses that symbol in the light world except in direct reference to the church or the religion. The leader of the church being Alvin, that means the 3 people who know about the shelter dark world and are keeping it locked up are Carol, Undyne, and Alvin, 3 major community leaders of the town. The mayor, the chief of police, and the pastor are working together in this town-wide conspiracy to keep the secrets of the dark world from the rest of the townsfolks. So Carol has her posse that know about the dark worlds, and she wants to open dark worlds to help find her daughter again. Doesn't it make sense that she'd be the one masterminding opening these fountains instead of Des, trying to bring about the roaring for some vague reason? The dark world in the church was opened by Alvin. That's why he dug up Gerson's hammer, because Carol had already asked him to do it the day before, and he knew the fun gang would need guidance because it was written in the prophecy. Then the TV world, the only main chapter fountain we see opened, was opened by Kris, who is already a confirmed collaborator with Carol. The computer lab is a little more of a stretch, but think about it. Who's right outside of the library, blocking traffic and funneling Kris and Susie directly into the place with the dark fountain? Undyne opened the cyber world. That leaves the card kingdom, and it makes sense that Carol would want to be the one to open the first fountain, making sure it would even work like she intends. Also, assuming the supply closet fountain exists already, she'd want to do it in that place close to the purest source of darkness. This also tracks if we think about chapter 5. Who else is a known collaborator with Carol, who we suspect has some knowledge of dark fountains and has heavily hinted at appearing in chapter 5? IcedCoral will be the one to open his own fountain in the Flower King, wanting to use it to try and prove tutorial and the rest of what really happened to Des that night.
That is an interesting theory, all right.
That was a long one.
Yeah,
But
there's
I like
I really like that theory. There's a lot of really interesting evidence. I like Alvin being the 3rd symbol. I'm gonna say probability on that one because I feel like there's a lot of stuff in that theory I think I like totally see. There's a few things I don't, like with like Des being the knight with all that.
Okay, but like to be fair, Des being the knight really isn't like a key aspect of this theory.
It isn't at all. Honestly, probability, I'm gonna say a 7 on that one. That's a really interesting perspective that I never had even considered before.
Yeah.
Fun, I'm gonna have to say like an 8. Great job, by the way, on like writing that, because that was a pretty complex theory and it was really long and had a lot of details. I really liked how like fleshed out it was. Narrative wise, that one is like a 10 for me. Fantastic theory.
Yeah, I like it a lot too. Remember, Luke, back when we recorded that theory ranking video, the seven nights theory?
Yes.
This is like sort of like, I feel like 7 nights the squeakquel, if you will.
Yeah, for sure.
So
Electric Knights, shit, I 7 Nights, 2 Electric Boogaloo.
Yes. And I really like that theory because I think it's really compelling.
Great
So,
theory.
probability, I'm going to give that one a 6. The only thing I think kind of going against that is we see the knight open a fountain in chapter 4. Like, you know, it's a fountain inside of a fountain to create the Titan.
But like, I mean,
that doesn't confirm anything, but like,
yeah. Because
you
that
know.
doesn't say that, like, I mean, the knight can open fountains.
Yeah.
But we don't know if it is
they
the ones.
open the fountain.
Yeah.
But it's like, you know, I think narratively speaking, you show us the knight opening a fountain to
Yeah.
signify that they can make fountains and they've been the one making the fountains.
But that would be an insane plot twist if it wasn't.
Yeah.
I mean,
The only other thing is like, everyone seems to say the Roaring Knight, which signifies like one person. So why would it
Yeah.
be like multiple people? Fun value, 10. I'm gonna give it 10. I think it's fun.
it's super fun.
I think it's fun having different knights.
See, for me now, the fun value after that lead poisoning one is
Yeah.
like, I feel like that set the bar so unbelievably high for a 10 for fun that like, I feel like it's gonna now be hard for like any theory to get 10
Okay,
for
true.
fun. But that
True,
one is
true. Lead is like
lead is-
the definition of fun.
Yeah.
I'll give it like a 9.
But that
9
is
fun.
But I'm not trying to take away from how fun that theory
Yeah.
that was.
Narrative wise, I'm gonna give that. I think I'm also gonna give that a 9. I
Yeah.
think narrative wise is really fun,
Super good.
super good, super compelling. And then we have all these collaborators. Like, there's so many collaborators. It would be weird if they didn't have ties to like the Dark Worlds themselves in some way. The Shadow Mantle Holder, or Eram, is an ICEE Darkner. And this is by, I don't even know how to say this name, but it'll be on screen. There you go. There's a ton of strange foreshadowing for ICEE in Deltarune. Off the top of my head, he shows up in the chapter 2 puzzles, and most think that he's crawling out of the pipes in chapter 3. The theme before you fight the mantle boss is called Eram, which is Mare backwards. One of the fun events in Undertale was some kind of horrific ICE creature showing up on the crossword puzzle with Nightmare written next to it. Its battle theme, Burning Eyes, references a post from the Spamton sweepstakes about an ICE pizza box who Noelle thought she saw blink, and then Des, if I remember correctly, burned its eyes out. Alongside that, in the files, Burning Eyes is called nightmare_boss_heavy.ogg.
I think that's fire.
All right, so what do you think?
I mean, I think that's pretty damn fun. I think that'd be really fire if Icy.
You think ICE is Eram?
Well, I didn't say I think that. I just think
Okay.
it's fun.
Okay.
Okay. Probability 1.
1. Ooh.
Don't think it at all.
There's a lot of evidence though.
Yeah, but I don't think that the Icy is meant to be more than like a gag. I just
don't
think
know.
it's
I
a
could
weird
see.
joke. But
I could see IC being like a ruler of a dark world or something. I think.
Yeah?
I think that'd be fun.
but again, fun. Fun rating on this one, 9. Narrative, I'd say a solid 8.
Okay.
It's so fun, and I want this to be real. I just don't think it is.
I see.
So probability 1, net 2.
Okay. Probability, I'm gonna give it like a 4. I think there is a lot of good evidence. That is definitely what Toby Fox was hinting at. The song Burning Eyes with that Noelle like blog post with like the pizza icy box with like the burning eyes. Like, it's literally in the post, it's like directly quoted to be like burning eyes, which is
Yeah.
like, why would you say that and then have a song called Burning Eyes if there wasn't a connection? But I think the person that puts the eyes in the pizza box is Kris, which, you know, it doesn't have to just be icy, like literally being Eram, but I could also see it being a reference to like Eram's line and how at the end of the fight, Eram says flickering red, like pretty little flames.
Oh.
Kris is the one that puts their eyes through the box, and, you know, Chris's eyes are red. You know, Eram says they're burning, flickering like flames, burning eyes, you know, or whatever. Fun value, I'm gonna give this one an 8. I think Icy being like some sort of big antagonist is fun.
So fun.
Narrative wise, I'm gonna give this one a 3.
What?
Only because I just Icy being like Chris's like demon.
That's fire. I mean, that's funny as hell. It's
That's funny. Quote
Yeah.
emphasis on funny, which is why it gets a high fun score. But I don't,
yeah,
I don't think it tells a compelling narrative. Like,
I guess.
yes, Kris, your demon, Icy. I'm pretty sure it is like basically confirmed that the little like creatures in the pipes of Tenna's like evil minigame is ICEE, because the sprite itself is ICEE, but they just like in the game's files like made it all black. But the sprite itself is actually
I
ICEE.
did not know that.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why ICEE has so much connections to Dark World. I don't know. I think Toby just really likes ICEE.
That's what I mean. I think so too. Like it's like meant to be like that. Like there are certain things and gags Toby just like you can tell just really enjoys, and you can tell he's doing that for like because he finds it really funny, and I just really like that because it's just like these random things like that, and I really think he just likes ICEE.
This one's interesting. It's the Knight is a Titan with Des trapped inside, and this is by Van Triloquist. My theory is that Des is the Knight, but that it's a lot more complicated than just being her. In one of the images of the prophecy, there's two Titans that look really similar to the Knight. We also see in chapter 4 that Titans are similar to Dark Worlds, but there's nothing there, it's just a void. Des is seemingly trapped in the code of Deltarune, which here I'm saying is the inner void of the Titan. The Knight is a Titan and Des is trapped inside. The way I think it happened was when Des and Kris ventured into the bunker one last time, they found themselves in a Dark World, which side note would explain why Kris has saved before we overwrite it in the Dark World. And for reasons I can't speculate on now, Kris attacked Des and made a Titan with her, being the Earth, which would explain why the Titan looks so much like a deer and has influence from her. Kris promised to fix what they'd done to her. I also think the phone voice is the Knight. They talk kind of like something that shouldn't be able to, and they always refer to Kris by name, but talk about them like they're talking to themselves. I just think it's an interesting idea, but I also want to know what other people think and if there's more evidence I'm missing.
I really like that theory, actually. I
really
think
like
that's
that
a cool
theory,
theory.
I think it explains why Des is like, sorry, I just assumed that the Knight was Des. But I'm saying it explains why the Knight has like just pure darkness,
Yeah.
like as their body. You probably don't know this, Luke, but in the like video game that Eram is in, literally that, you remember that little like dark, like sprited monster that like follows your movements?
Yes.
That one in the game's files has a placeholder image, which is of a black deer.
Really?
Yeah, and that monster is the only one that Kris on their own stabs, not the player.
Wow.
So that's also evidence for Kris maybe like hurting or killing Des in some way. And it also explains in the chapter 4 egg room why they're like, we don't kill people here, and you know, Kris has to like go to art therapy.
As much as I think Rudy Knight theory, probability on this one I think is really high because that would kind of make a lot of sense. Yeah, I'm gonna say probability 8. I like that a lot. Fun. I'd give it an 8. Narrative. We're going all 8s. That to me, in terms of any Death Knight theory I've ever heard, is the most compelling without a doubt for me. Like that, if that ends up being the case, I'll be like, you know what? Okay, like, yeah, totally.
And I think it makes sense. You know, we are explicitly shown that we can like go inside of a Titan.
Yeah.
You know, having Des inside, and you know, this is like the like super darkness or whatever that she's unable to like escape in the code or whatever. I could see that. So I'm gonna give probability. I'm good at a 7.
Yeah.
You know, I think there's some room for doubt, but overall, I think it's strong. Fun value. I'm gonna give it a 9. I think it's fun. And narrative-wise, I'm also gonna give that a 9. I think that's a cool narrative.
Yeah, I think so too.
Really cool narrative. Ties together all the Titan stuff.
Yeah, great theory.
Awesome theory. Thank you. This is from Poople Guy.
Oh, I like the name. That's funny.
Why'd you give like such like a serious voice to like I like the name? I like the name. And this theory is the Knight is Goner Des. The Knight is neither Des nor Carol. Des is most likely the one stuck in the code, which would make it impossible for her to be the Knight. On top of that, it would be pretty suspicious if you saw a missing person suddenly walk around and go into random buildings. Also, why would she be evil all of a sudden? Carol has a lot more evidence. However, her being the Knight seems too obvious, and there's interesting evidence against her, like the Knight's roar sound being made out of voice blips that don't sound like what Carol voice blips are. The Knight also looks and acts like no other Lightner, being able to shapeshift and summon stuff out of nowhere. So what if the Knight is actually a completely different being? A Pippin in chapter 3 says the Rudens pretty sure you lost him somewhere. And I mean really lost. And when we go to the man country, Rune says, copies are monochrome. Lost people and monochrome copies. Where have we seen that before? Basically what I'm trying to say here is that I think the knight is a goner version of Des. The knight having white circles in their hands and also being the only boss where Gaster interrupts us adds more fuel to this theory. However, I still think Carol being the knight is more likely. I'm just throwing this out here because it's interesting. So what do you think, Luke?
It is interesting.
You think it's a goner? You think the knight is a goner? Goner version of Des specifically?
No, I personally just don't think so.
Why?
I don't think Des isn't. I just don't think Des is.
Okay, what about a goner version of Rudy?
I don't think it is. I think it's just blatantly Rudy. I don't think it's a goner version.
You don't think the knight has anything to do with goners?
Probably not.
Interesting.
Do you disagree?
Why do I gotta disagree? Maybe
I don't know.
Maybe I just find it fascinating.
The
Maybe
way-
I'm like Gaster.
The way you said that, it was you were just
Maybe,
like,
maybe I'm like Gaster. I'm just experimenting here.
I don't know. I'd have to say probability 3.
Damn. Okay. Fun.
Like a 6. That's cool. I mean, I like the goner version. Well, no, that's way too high. I'm tweaking. Like 4.
Damn.
Narrative wise, like that's cool, I guess. 6.
Damn. Put that in the trash heap because no, I'm joking. It's all just opinion. Me personally, I'm gonna give it an 8
Wow.
possibility scale because while I don't think the knight is a goner version of Des, I do think the knight has ties to goners and could possibly be a goner. Fun value, I'm gonna give that a 3. I don't think it's like super fun. Narrative wise, I'm gonna give that a 7. Because I do think there's a lot of stuff going on with goners and Deltarune that is like explicitly being shown in the story. Like as a player, casual player, you're gonna see the vessel, which is a goner. If the knight has a relation to goners, you're gonna see the knight. We have weird stuff with chapters like 4 where a Ruden in Castletown is apparently their color is fading, which is like similar to goners. The bird monster in Deltarune, which was a goner in Undertale, in chapter 4 is having like weird speech. And similar like the Jockington, why does Jockington have like weird speech and all that stuff? So there's something going on with like goners and Deltarune, and I think having that tied to the main antagonist is a good story. But Luke, he says pack it up, kid. Speaking of Jockington is not what he seems.
Okay.
By Choco Fox 7. This theory was inspired by, but differs quite a bit from, the Luigi's video, the Jockington Conspiracy on YouTube. Jockington is something of a mythical creature in Deltarune. He seems to be a completely flat joke character, but like Newbert, he's inexplicably loved by everyone around him. Except Susie. Concerningly though, his speech has grown less and less comprehensible as the chapters have gone on, and although I can't confirm this myself, many say that his sprite is becoming grayer each chapter as well. Not only this, but he forms a snake and a cat duo with Catty, and snakes and cats are associated with evil and bad omens in Western IRL culture, as well as with darkness within the game. Friend is a cat whose tail may or may not be the tail of hell, which must not be followed. Friend is likely also the one who's making the scratching sound which the person in the code talks about. Catty's color scheme is also a yellow and pink, just like Friend. As for snakes, in the Titan fight, darkness is described as slithering, and there's also this flavor text which connects it to snakes directly. The darkness gives a long gaze, which slithers like a snake. It's also no secret that Deltarune uses Christian iconography as a storytelling device in Deltarune, with obvious examples like the angel, Gaster being 666, Noelle wearing the thorn ring, an allusion to the crown of thorns which connects her to Jesus, etc. Kris has constantly been related to apples, making it possible that they represent the apple in Adam and Eve. The snake is, of course, very important to this story. And just like the snake appears in the Bible, Jockington is the only named character in the prophecy. Every other character is named with descriptions such as the girl with hope crossed on her heart or the pointed headed. This prophecy states that Jockington grows the beard. A saying originated from Star Trek fan discussion, which means the point where their character gets interesting / becoming more three-dimensional. With the trajectory that Jockington is going now, his speech will likely get less and less comprehensible until he reaches the point of eldritch incomprehensibility, the moment where his joke character status goes so far that he reaches the other side, becoming a fully serious and terrifying character. In the Bible, the snake represents the temptation to disobey God's command and to commit sin. In Deltarune, this can be correlated to going against the game dev's intentions and playing the weird route, breaking the game to do unspeakable things for the sake of creating a new ending. This theory proposes that whatever happens to Jockington will be the ultimate temptation to do so.
That's fire. Probability 9. Fun 8.
Okay.
And narrative 7. That's a really cool theory. The Jockington thing about his like speech, everything get more incomprehensible. Like certainly something weird going on there.
And it's also weird that like Jockington like has a talking sprite, but like plays such a minor role.
Cause it's such a small detail, and it's so weird. You know, like yeah.
Jockington's talking sprite has like 4 different files, but they're
Really?
all the same image.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so weird.
I will say it'd be like super creepy if like we get a chapter, we talk to Jockington, and like one of the like text has a talking sprite where it's just him like frowning. Like that'd be so jarring.
That would be sick.
That'd be jarring.
That would be sick.
My first thought after saying that is like, and then Jockington says, "I remember your SnowGraves, Kris." Like
Jockington just starts quoting Undertale.
I really like that theory. Probability, I don't think it's too probable. I'm gonna give it like a 5. I can see like a 50-50 chance. Fun value, I'm gonna give that a 9. I think that's really fun.
Yeah, I think so. It's really fun.
Narrative wise, I'm gonna give that a 7. So I there's definitely has to be something going on with Caddy and Jockington.
For sure, 100%.
What is their deal, bro?
I know, yeah.
Like literally in chapter 4, they don't do like anything.
No.
But like Jockington is literally like in one of the prophecy panels.
Yeah, literally.
It's like, what is going on?
Has to be chapter 5. Jockington's the knight. Wouldn't that be crazy though? Like it's like the reason he's speaking incomprehensible is because he's the knight and it like is exerting his like mind and power.
No, bro, it's because he's being lead poisoned.
Yeah, yes, more evidence.
I think that was already stated in the theory.
Oh, it probably was. I was laughing so goddamn hard.
All right, Luke, you read this one.
Okay.
Which one is this, Luke, and who's it by?
Ralsei Plushie Theory by R083RT. We've all been wondering for a while if Ralsei is a Darkner. What object are they based on? Well, what if their object has been in plain sight all this time? I suggest that Ralsei's Lightworld object is a plushie. Firstly, it always seemed odd that Toby wanted to limit Lightner merch. The Ralsei plush in particular stands out even more now with it featuring in several places in Chapter 3. We'll also note it's very interesting that during the Tennifight, Ralsei can turn into the plushie. It's also noteworthy that when fallen down in battle, the game says Ralsei became a pile of fluff, which mirrors what Earthbound says about teddy bears when fallen in combat. Ralsei being a plushie also explains how they're portrayed as a Darkner, being cute and subservient, since the role of a plushie is to comfort others. Ralsei's actions, such as hugging, being hugged, and hosting a tea party, also somewhat fit the behavior associated with stuffed animals. Saying Ralsei is literally a Ralsei plush brings up the big question: why exactly would such a thing exist in the light world? Well, I propose in the light world, Ralsei isn't actually meant to be labeled as a Ralsei plush, rather an Asriel plush, one made by Des at a young age, with Des being portrayed as being a similar age to Asriel, having Asriel's retainer and jacket in her room and sharing some interests. It's speculated Des may have had feelings for Asriel at one point. We also see buttons and frayed yarn in Des's room, alongside the knowledge that Des made an angel doll in the past with Noelle. It is potentially possible that Des could have made an Asriel plush based on having an early crush on him. Girls having plushies based on their love interests is a minor anime/manga trope. If Ralsei was an Asriel plush, it also would explain how they can be connected to Asriel without literally being them. Ralsei being an Asriel plush also explains why Noelle and Susie would see the resemblance to Asriel, while Kris would point out the differences, because plushies are never exact copies, rather simplified representations on what they're based on, which can arguably be relevant to Ralsei's behavior as a whole in comparison to Asriel. Ralsei also appearing to be physically younger than how old Asriel currently is can also be explained by Des making the plushie when Asriel was younger. Fakey note: mention how maybe Des...
You don't gotta read that part. That's me, bro. That's my note.
Sorry. Probability 10.
Ooh.
Yeah, that theory, 100%, I think. There's so much overwhelming evidence for that. That makes so much sense to me. I would say why that makes sense to me, but I just read the theory again because every part of that makes sense. I'm going to say narrative 10 because I already think that that's the case. So I'm going to say for fun. I feel like that's like a 4 because like it's like fun, I guess. I don't know. It's like not like anything crazy. Like that's probably what it is.
For me, probability, I'm going to give that an 8. I still think there's a chance that Ralsei could be the horned headband. I'm a firm believer in that. But you do bring up a lot of good evidence. If there was going to be another object, I think that that's what Ralsei would be.
100%.
I know someone made a video on this theory before, so I'll put their name up here, but that video was more of like a joke video. But this
really?
one, yeah. And this one has a lot more evidence for it. So
yeah, because that seems pretty damn convincing to me.
Fun value, I'm gonna give it like a 4. It's not like super fun. You know, I think it's pretty like cut and dry.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
And then narrative wise, I'm gonna give that a 7. All right, I like that. I like it as a narrative. And I wanted to bring up the idea that perhaps instead of Des making an Azrael plush, maybe Des made a plush for Kris of their monster Sona. And that's why, like, Ralsei is like an anagram of Azrael and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And why Ralsei, like, relates so much to Kris and all that stuff. Because I really think that Ralsei is, like, the monster Sona of Kris.
Yeah.
Like, they're, like, the same age. Kris is able to point out all the differences between them because, you know, a sibling of Azrael. It's not actually Azrael. But, yeah, no, I think that's really good.
I think so, too.
Carol is the original user of SnowGrave. This is by Ceradust. A pet theory I've been becoming more attached to is given how much Carol being cold is emphasized, and how the place where you first fight the knight is a cold area might be a sign that SnowGrave isn't Noelle's move, but Carol's move. She would use the win in her first boss fight and possibly take one of the party members out of commission for a part of a future chapter. This would also explain a few other things about the weird route, like why the player would want Noelle to use a move Noelle emphasizes that she doesn't know, since if the weird route is meant to be found after a normal playthrough, the player would know about it from Carol and figure if Carol can use it, her kid should be able to use it in the Dark World. I'm sure there's more depth to this than I described, but this is the TLDR version.
Probability 2. I don't think so. I think that the snow area there is a coincidence.
But we also got like the ice imagery with Carol as well.
Yeah, but like, I mean, Noelle and like all of the holidays are like reindeer. Like their whole thing is Christmas. So
but like Carol specifically has like ice, like directly to her. Like literally, she puts her hand on Kris's shoulders, like
sure, and
you feel like ice.
Yeah.
She has the AC on full blast.
Yeah.
She has a very cold personality, as described.
Yeah, I'm not buying it though. But it's a cool theory. Fun 5, narrative 6. I mean, it is an interesting narrative. That would be kind of cool.
For me, I'm going to give this a 6 on the probability.
Okay.
I think all the ice imagery has to relate to something that Carol can use a spell, an ice spell. Like she has, if she goes to a dark world, she has to use an ice spell. Like, come on. And Noelle's main thing is ice.
Yeah.
So, and if she was going to be like a super hard fight, boss fight, then obviously using a very powerful ice spell, SnowGrave, would make sense. Fun value. I'm going to give this one a 7 on the fun value.
Okay.
I think it's fun.
It is fun. Yeah.
I think it is really fun. I think it's a fun idea that in a boss fight against Carol, we have to literally dodge SnowGrave. I think that'd be fun.
That'd be kind of cool.
Narrative wise, I'm also going to give this like a 9.
Wow.
Because I think this is also really cool. Tying into like the sort of meta narrative that the player goes back, sees that Carol can use SnowGrave, knows about like the video game stuff, hinting at the weird route, and they're like, what if I can get Noelle to use SnowGrave? Because that's like a big thing, is that like, I think the weird route, like the whole point is that it's a player going back after they beat the game. And obviously because we're like so crazy that we found it before, you know, the game's done.
Yeah.
But I think it is originally supposed to be something that's found after you beat the game. All right, so this is Vessel Returns Theory by Niko. In Chapter 1, with the Thrash Machine, you can choose its head, torso, and legs, like how you designed the vessel, and it gets discarded within the same chapter by Susie and Lancer. However, in Chapter 2, Rules somehow found it and uses it to fight you in the Acid Lake section. Then, when the fight the Giga Queen, you team up with all the Darkners you saved, which turns the Thrash Machine into this giant mech. In chapter 3, in the egg room, there's a Rune that asks if we could go and get a photocopy of Kris to play with them. Photocopies typically appear to look gray, and the vessel looks like a gray-scaled version of Kris. In chapter 1, there is this angel doll in the hospital by Rudy's bed. It is quoted to lack any facial features, kind of like how the vessel lacks any facial features. In chapter 2, Rudy will tell Susie how Des and Noelle made the doll as a duo, kind of like how the player and Gaster made the vessel as a duo. In chapter 4, in the basement section, the angel doll can fall onto you, letting you move it around. This can either be a piece of player angel evidence or vessel angel evidence. Also, in the same chapter, in the church Dark World, the prophecy states the first hero, the cage with human soul and parts. First off, the vessel is literally the first character we ever see in the game. Cage is a synonym for a container, which also can be a synonym for vessel. On a meta angle, if the soul possessed the vessel, the soul could never leave it, as the vessel, its only body, would mean that it would never have the ability to remove the soul, trapping us within it forever. The parts thing in the prophecy does not make sense with Kris at all, and really only makes sense with the vessel as it was created using parts. Another part of the prophecy states the angel Banished will meet with its desire. Most likely this is referring to us being forcibly removed from Kris and the vessel being our desire. Lastly, the vessel is saved in the game's code. If it wasn't important, it wouldn't even been kept around in the background, in my opinion. The vessel has to be important in some way, and most likely we will control it somehow. No idea when though. I will say the cage part, like the prophecy panel with the first hero, the cage with soul and human parts or whatever, like I think that has to be talking about the vessel. I don't think that's talking about Kris. Because
that's facts. You're right. There's what else could that possibly be?
Yes.
I don't know. I'm kind of torn on this theory, honestly, because like it feels like that was only really made for chapter 2 to take out Queen, and like Rules is like, I don't want to call Rules a joke character, but Rules is kind of a joke character.
But they're saying like the thrash machine like parallels the vessel, like how the thrash machine was something that we created with different parts and was brought back, because the vessel's made with different parts. True. It will also be brought back. That's what they're saying with that.
Yeah, honestly, probability on that, I could see that. I'd say like a 10.
The big conclusion of this theory is just that the vessel will come back.
10.
And I mean, that's like basically canon.
I'm gonna spin a theory off here. Like maybe to, I don't know, let's say to defeat Gaster or the big bad of Undertale, like it's like using your own creativity. Like how like the game is constantly pushing, like you have no say. Everything is like already predetermined, but like your own creativity and branching off the given path is like the blind spot that like Gaster, whoever the main antagonist is, doesn't have. And like the vessel is literally evidence of that. So like, and that's how you defeat the antagonist. Fun, like a 3, because it's just like not that crazy. Narrative, like an 8.
Probability 10. Like,
I mean, it's gonna happen.
The vessel will come back.
If it doesn't, I'll be shocked.
Yeah. Fun, I'm gonna give this a 1.
Yeah.
I think this is the lowest fun scale only because it's just like, it will. Like,
yeah, true.
Narrative wise, I'm going to give that a 7. The vessel definitely needs to come back. Definitely will have something to say, and I will be shocked if it doesn't. Des is the Deltarune Chara by Philishheim. Des is a human. This goes off of Luker Fuffle's theory, which he
what
says...
A name.
I know, I think Luke likes that.
I like the name.
Which he says that she's a human goner, which is why no one seems to talk about her. The minute I finished that video for the first time, I thought of another theory that built off of this. Des is the Deltarune version of Chara. We know that Undertale and Deltarune are parallel stories, so if we want to predict the future of Deltarune, we should look at Undertale first. Chara fell into the underground and became the second child of the king and queen who died, whose body is mysteriously missing from the game. They're seemingly forgotten, only being talked about by the monsters in New Home and by Asgore. The forgotten statue in Waterfall is seemingly Azrael holding a now destroyed and forgotten Chara's body. When we, the player, controlling Frisk, complete the true pacifist, Flowey tells us, using the name of Chara, to let Frisk and the others live their lives. At the end of Genocide, Chara themselves shows up, confirming that we are Chara. Chara explains that our control over the game and the things we do in it, that feeling is them. This reveal confirms that we are both Chara and the Angel, which we'd already know through Gerson. How can we fit this into Deltarune? A character who has seemingly been forgotten by Hometown besides a select few whose face we never seen, meaning she could be a human without us knowing, Des. The Holiday family has a lot of symbolism with angels, specifically Noelle. However, it isn't just Noelle. The angel statue in Rudy's hospital room was made by both Des and Noelle. If Des was a human, it would explain why the soul we control is seemingly not Kris's, even though it is a human soul. If Des is the Deltarune version of Chara, therefore us, what would she be a parallel to? The desire to change fate. That's what the weird route is. We're trying as hard as we can to change the future, to break through the message that our choices don't matter, and at the end of the weird route, we'll meet Des face to face the same way we do with Chara at the end of the genocide route.
That's a pretty compelling theory, actually. And even like with how you have Chara's like kind of meta where like, doesn't Chara like literally like turn your game off in Undertale? And like you got Des is like in the code of the game.
Yes.
I'm gonna say probability 10.
Wow, that's really high.
No
room of doubt.
I think that, well, 9, probability 9. Narrative, I'd say like an 8. And fun, I got like a 5.
Okay.
Yeah, I really like that theory. I could totally see it happening. Hold up for me is the human aspect. Des being a human, because I don't think so.
I kind of think so because so we do get to see the flashback with Des in it in chapter 3.
Yeah.
And I've heard some people think that maybe, you know, how Kris wears like the horned headband,
Mm-hmm.
and how if you just look at the silhouette of Kris, it could look like a dreamer. The same thing could be true for Des. She's wearing
that's
like
a good point.
Antler headband.
I don't know, but I love that theory. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking probability. I'm gonna give it like a 5.
Really?
There's so much stuff going on with Des. I don't know if she's just gonna be like Chara. I do like the fact that she is like human. I think that ties into like why Kris would be like so attached to her in like many different ways. If they were the one that killed Des, it could explain why they're uncomfortable with humans. Just humans in general reminds them of like what they did to Des. And I think we have to see a human like in Deltarune, like another one at least, like at some point, right?
It's Susie.
Susie the human. We're gonna see like Susie's dad.
Yeah.
And he's gonna be a human. He'll be like, "Hey, Susie, you're winning." Susie's gonna be like, "I'm bleeding." And Dad's gonna be like, "That's what I gave you. My blood." Fun. I'm gonna give this 8 on the fun. I think it's really fun. I like the idea that Des is human. I think that's fun. We need to see more humans. Please, Toby, give us another human.
But I feel like Kris being the only human, like the only true human, also makes it really interesting in the story.
True. Narrative, I'm gonna give that a 9. Because I
Yeah.
think narratively tying into Kris's character, all that stuff,
It's cool.
and Des and their relationship with the soul and all that stuff, yes. All right, so this one is a short one. This is
Okay.
Deltarune will have multiple endings by Artsy. An actual short theory, I think Deltarune will have multiple endings. Even the game's description sounds confused at one ending. Not to mention Susie shatters the end of the prophecy, and it doesn't show up again before we reach the fountain. This could imply she's the one who can change endings to Deltarune as well as the prophecy.
That'd be kind of cool.
I mean, do you think Deltarune will have more than one ending?
No.
Damn, how come?
I just don't. I really think the theme of Deltarune will be it having the one ending.
But the weird route though.
I don't think the weird route is going to change at the end. I think the weird route is like it's going to branch into the main story. It'd be like a choose your own adventure, but then it all links up at the end and it's just one ending.
I mean, if the ending, let's say for example, the ending was literally just like Kris walking like out of hometown, right?
Yeah.
But like, would you consider that one ending if like in the normal route, like Kris is walking out of hometown because they're moving on to college and everyone's happy. But in the weird route, it's like Kris is walking out of hometown because the entire town is destroyed.
Yeah, it's a different ending.
No, but like the actual like scene itself is the same.
Yeah, no, I think that'd be 2 endings.
Okay.
I think like the only way you could kind of like, spoilers for a very old game, but at the end of Mass Effect 3, how like the ending, like all the actions are just like the color of the explosion at the end of the game. I feel like that's like the same ending, but it's just the colors. I feel like that'd be like the only way I could like see it being a different scene, but still the same ending. But like the whole town getting destroyed or the whole town staying, still think is too different.
What I'm trying to say with that is like I'm saying something could happen similarly in Deltarune to that sort of proposed
But
ending.
that'd still be a different ending though. Like,
But the thing is, would Toby count that as one ending?
I don't know.
'Cause
I don't know, Toby.
It ends the same.
I don't know. Probability 2.
I was gonna say fun.
5. Like, there were multiple endings to Undertale. It's just like, what if the opposite of what was set up? Like, I don't really think that's that fun. And narrative, I mean, I would like there to be multiple endings. So I guess 6, because I'd like that to be the case. Just really don't think so.
Multiple endings, I'm going to give it a 6 for probability.
Really?
My interpretation of what Deltarune is going for is that if chapter 7 like ends and there's like a secret chapter 8 that you're supposed to get that's like the actual ending, or if we get to chapter 6 and it ends on a cliffhanger but you just like see that chapter 7 thing but you can never reach it, I think like that's what we're trying to go for.
Okay.
I think that like in the normal route and in the weird route, like you're gonna get to like that chapter 6, for example, and you're never gonna be able to get to chapter 7, but there's gonna be something else that you can do that will get you to that chapter 7.
Yeah.
And yeah, that will be like one ending.
That would be interesting.
Because like both routes don't end, but you know, one does, and that's the ending. Technically, you could consider ending on a cliffhanger for like 2 routes being an ending. So that's why I'm giving it like a 6.
Okay.
Fun, I'm gonna give that an 8 because I think it'd be really fun to have different endings.
That's like a common trope now. Like,
Is it though? I don't know.
it happened in Undertale.
But yeah, but that's Undertale.
Yeah, but it was his last game.
And Undertale was supposed to be, I think Undertale is like the predecessor of Deltarune, and
Well, yeah.
Undertale sent out multiple endings. I'm just saying.
Okay.
Narrative wise, I'm gonna give that a 5. I think like what Toby's trying to go for with one ending is, at least my interpretation is like what I said, an ending you can't reach, but one path will take you to that.
Okay.
So, but we like what you got.
mean, yeah, that'd be interesting. That'd be kind of cool.
And this is our last theory. This is the Spamton bracket text theory by Slim Grim 360. I've had this headcanon for a while that Spamton's bracketed text isn't only from adverts, but also from things he's heard before, and more importantly, dialogue taken from what other characters in the story say, i.e. premonitions of the future game dialogue. Good examples of this are Clown Around Town, Lancers Chapter 2,
Oh.
Heart-Shaped Object, Noel Chapter 4, Smooth Taste of, and I Gave You Everything My Life Advice, Tenna Chapter 3, Can Anyone Hear Me? Help, an indirect quote from the unused text, the word easel, Chapter 4 Egg Room, possibly hyperlink blocked, unless that philosopher from the Second Sanctuary was referring to Spamton and not the other way around. Each of these phrases have been said by different characters across different chapters, which means that maybe some of Spamton's brackets might be foreshadowing and that we could possibly use these for any future chapter predictions.
That's a crackpot theory, and I fuck with it heavy.
I think it has a lot of merit.
There's a lot of weight to that one, but
Yeah.
do we have any other bracket text that literally, like, could not really?
I mean, I think Spamton says, like, we don't need any more, like, Joes and Schmoes or whatever. I mean, do you think like that?
But I don't know. I mean, it's like, I
It
have
could be
no
something.
idea.
I
It
don't
could
know.
be something. So that's why I'm gonna.
He says, like, Hoochie Mama. Is that like...
Yeah. I don't know. I do like this theory a lot and think there's a lot of weight. I'm gonna say 7 on probability.
Okay.
Fun, 8.
Okay.
Narrative wise, low key 10, because that would be fucking crazy if that was real.
Spamton the Prophet, one could
That
say.
would be a hype.
I'm gonna say probability. I'm gonna guess like a 5. It's like a 50-50 shot, honestly.
Yeah, I want to see it be real,
Yeah.
and it's like we
It is-
literally would need all the chapters to
Yeah.
like see if it's real.
I think the strongest point is literally Noel in chapter 4 saying heart-shaped object. Like
That-
that is
yeah,
like
that is-
like such a like specific
Yeah.
like line.
Literally, yeah.
Yeah. Fun. I'm gonna give this fun like an 8. I agree.
That's fun as hell.
Fun as fuck. And I'm gonna give narrative 10 because Spamton the
Yeah.
Prophet would be amazing.
Literally,
Would be
yeah.
amazing, bro. I would love that. My goat would be like the key to Deltarune.
Not just your goat anymore. The goat.
The goat of Deltarune.
Yeah.
All right, so those are all the theories, but those are just the theories for the viewer responses. Mr. Luke, you have with us a theory you've been brewing,
I've been cooking a few theories.
and now I shall review them.
Okay. First theory. Deltarune is an anagram of Undertale.
Bro! 0 out of 10. Never happening.
No.
No fun. No narrative.
All right, well, no, for real, being serious. This was the first one here. This is like a shorter one. Papyrus is never gonna show up in any form, and he's gonna be the only character from Undertale that has absolutely no mention, no anything in Deltarune. I think that it's going to kind of play into how like Sans isn't from here. Papyrus also isn't either, right?
That would be the assumption, yeah.
And Papyrus is like not from Deltarune or Undertale, or he's in Undertale currently.
Okay.
And then Sans comes later. Like, I just don't think that Papyrus is from Deltarune at all. Or if he is, it's from like a faraway land where like we're never going to see a mention of. And then like it kind of shows of him not being there proves that Sans is the same Sans from Undertale. And
So do you think Sans is like making up a brother? Like he doesn't actually have a brother in Deltarune?
no,
And what's the evidence?
not much. I think that, I mean, well, the evidence, Papyrus isn't there. He was a pretty big character in Undertale. Sans is literally in every chapter, or except chapter 3. I feel like by now we would have at least heard a mention of Papyrus, you know? I think that's really weird, and I think it's going to be one of those things that's just left, like, open.
Probability, I'm going to give that a 7.
Okay.
I do agree with the fact that I don't think Papyrus will be shown. I think Toby is gonna be like a big like fuck you like
For sure.
Papyrus will never be shown. You'll never get to see him. I also subscribe to the fact that Papyrus is like he's different. Like Sans is the same, but Papyrus and Deltarune's different. Fun. I'm gonna give that a 3.
It's not that fun of a
It's
theory.
not that fun
Yeah,
because we want to see Papyrus.
no. Yeah, I know. I want to see Papyrus.
Narrative wise, I'm gonna give that an 8. I like how it ties into the Sans is from Undertale because he doesn't have a brother, but he does get one in Undertale.
Next theory. I touched on this in the Patreon podcast.
Oh my god, this
Here's
is your
the
cue
plug.
to go to the Patreon.
That's right. But I want to mention it here too, which this is a theory I don't necessarily know if I believe in just because I'm wholeheartedly on the Rudy Knight train. But this is that Asgore is the knight. He got the horns. The way he wields in Undertale, like the way he wields the trident, kind of like how the knight with the sword, like I feel like they kind of have a similar style. I look at it as Gaster is like literally the devil, and because Asgore's life is so shit, he essentially sells his soul to the devil, and in order to properly sell his soul and get like what he wants, I'm gonna assume it's probably to get Toriel back and have like his whole happy family back or get his job back. He has to do the devil's bidding before he can make the deal, and that's like a deal that they cut out. And so he basically becomes the knight for that time, and then once he like completes his duties as the knight or whatever they need to get done, then he's promised that he'll get whatever he wants.
Probability, I'll give that 2.
Yeah,
I don't think Asgore is going to be the knight.
I don't either. I just something I had thought of that I think
Yeah.
would be kind of cool.
Fun value, I'm going to give that an 8. I think it's fun.
Yeah.
I think Asgore being tempted by the devil, I think it's fun. Another piece of thing that you didn't mention that I think actually strengthens your theory is that Asgore in Undertale was like working with Gaster. Like Gaster was Asgore's old royal scientist.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as such, I'm going to give the narrative score a 7 because I think narratively that would tie back into Undertale and be a nice fit. Instead of Asgore being the boss of Gaster, Gaster is the boss of Asgore.
So here's my third and final theory.
Third and final theory.
This
Can we get
is-
a round of applause? Oh my god!
This
All right.
one is the one that I think has the most weight and the one I like the most out of these. We're saving the best for last here, what I think is. Heavy spoilers for Mother 3 as well. This whole video, we're going through these theories, and I'm praying to God no one was going to say this, and it would, ruin this whole part of the video, because someone, the Mother 3 one earlier, and I was like, oh my God, if they're about to say my theory, I'm going to be pissed. And they didn't. I think that Gaster mirrors Porky. At the end of Mother 3, Porky gets trapped in this like capsule. It's like the super safe capsule, some like along those lines.
From Super Smash Bros. It's the one, right? The one in some subspace that
Yep.
attacks you. Yeah.
Yeah. And he gets trapped in this capsule, gets basically like flung into space, and because like he gets so powerful where he can't be defeated, so he's immortal. And he's in this capsule floating through space for eternity. He can't die. He can't do anything. He literally is doomed to float through space for eternity in this capsule because they can't really defeat him because he's so powerful and immortal. I think that Gaster already has shown how he's like basically a god. And I think that it's going to get to a point where there's literally no way that Kris or whoever can defeat him. So he's going to get like sealed somewhere for eternity. Like, I think that is going to also play into Deltarune. Like, they find a way to seal him in, like, bunker or something. But I think he's going to get sealed. How, like, Porky creates an army, becomes, like, the ruler of the world, essentially. And I think that Gaster is kind of going to be similar to that, where he has his own army, like the Knight and all of them. The Puppet Master, you know? So
Isn't that Porky in the chamber, isn't he like gray?
yeah.
Which could tie to the Goners and the Gaster followers.
Yeah.
All right, any other evidence for that, or?
There probably is a lot more. It's been a while since I played Mother 3. So if I like replayed the game, I could probably find more evidence for it, but
Probability. I'm gonna give that 6.
okay.
I could see it. The army of friends that Gaster has. People like speculate that like friend, there's more than one, and it's like an army that Gaster has.
Oh my
So,
god, that'd be kind of sick.
You know, and the gray, the gray scale that Gaster's like heavily associated with. Fun value, I'm gonna give that a 7.
Okay.
It would be higher if I probably played Mother 3, but
Yeah.
from just hearing off of it, I think it's fun. Narrative, I'm gonna give that 3. Only because, like I said before, 1-to-1 inspirations, like this character is just essentially just going to be this character. I think inspiration is sort of taking something we already know and twisting it. And I don't think it's going to be the exact same. Yeah, it was the, like the desk with like the claw stuff.
Yeah.
Desk Knight claws. I think Toby's going to do something more with that. And I don't think it's just going to be like desk is literally just claws. Like we're just going to do the same thing again.
Okay. Yeah.
But I really like that theory.
Good. I'm glad. Yeah, that's all my theories that I had.
All right.
Am I supposed to say something else? I don't know what to say.
Do you want me to give my theories, or you want me to shut up and we'll end?
You should. Yeah, I'll rate yours.
okay. I think it's only fair.
Yeah, I think so too.
This theory that I have is called.
Interesting. Go on.
So the night, as we know. Okay, so Luke, after hearing that theory, what do you think?
Probability, I'd say I'm leaning in between a 9 and a 10.
There's a lot of evidence, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of evidence. Yeah, I'm gonna say 10 because I feel like I could see it going that direction, and I do kind of like that direction. Fun though, I'm gonna say like a 2.
Okay.
I don't think it's that fun because it's just like a very like, yeah, that's probably definitely like what's going on, not like a crackpot crate, you know what I mean? And narrative, I'd say like a 9. That's like a really freaking good narrative. I really enjoy that. Amazing theory.
Thank you, bro. That's my big theory. That's going to be saved for a future video that I'm working on right now.
Yeah, I think that should be saved for a future video.
And that's going to be fully bleeped. So if you want to know what that theory is,
subscribe,
like, comment, and hit that bell.
And if you can, subscribe to the Patreon. It helps a lot.
Just like Luke said, you can be just like these members on screen right now. Or if you're able to go above and beyond, like our Onimas tier patron, Exori, and the one and only $20 tier Masquerade Mass tier patron, Apple Juice is better. Thank you again so much for all the Patreon members. The videos probably are going to be taking a little while longer to come out than what it normally should be. Only because I'm going to be going off to college. Oh my God.
Crazy.
Big college. Obviously, I'm not going to be having as much time to work on videos. So if you want to help me get to the goal of making YouTube sort of like a part-time job, then definitely becoming a member on the Patreon. Greatly appreciated, because then I can spend more time on videos while I'm in school and get videos out faster. Obviously, only if you are financially able to. It is not a necessity.
Of course.
You can always subscribe, like, comment, and hit that bell for free, and that definitely does help towards that goal as well. And Luke is appearing a lot on the Patreon.
Yeah.
We got a podcast.
I know. Crazy.
And we have a full unedited audio of this video on the Patreon right now, if you want to see that too. And thank you for Luke for joining me. It was an absolute pleasure to have you, right?
Oh, yeah.
And if you want to check out Luke, he actually did create his own Twitter account.
I did.
That you can follow. And
yeah.
Luke, what is it, Luke?
Hollow Law 18.
At HollowLaw18 on Twitter. So if you want to follow Luke, see what he has to say.
Heck yeah, I'll interact with fans, post my takes on things, probably just random shit about like One Piece, video games, stuff like that. Deltarune.
And I also have a Twitter too if you want to check it out, link in the description. All right, but with that, thank you all so much for watching. All the theories were amazing. We loved reading them.
So much fun. This was like the most fun probably I've ever had doing a video, honestly.
Yeah.
I'd say.
And maybe we'll do it again. I don't know. Anyway, thank you so much. Have a good one. Adios.
Bye-bye.
And bye-bye.